Well, hello again, Awesomers. It's your old buddy, Steve Simonson, and we're doing it again. Another episode of the Awesomers.com podcast series. And this one is actually Awesomers.com/232. That means it's episode 232 in this now infamous mini series about axioms. It's Steve's Axiom Mini Series. And what you get here are a bunch of things that I repeat in a way that would make me be the crazy old man on the corner, but now I've marketized it into nuggets of wisdom just for you. And so I've got 26 axioms that I repeat. And by the way, that number of axioms grows over time, because when I have something, a phrase or an idea that really resonates with me, I repeat it often. And so then I write it down and go, hey, that's another axiom. And I'm not crazy. So you could be the judge of my level of sanity on your own. And by the way, you can leave that in your 5-star review. Steve is crazy smart and insanely talented. Huh? See what I did there? I went ahead and I wrote half your review for you. Go ahead on over to iTunes, write that down, and let's just make that the official review. 5 stars. Steve's insanely handsome and crazy smart. Yeah, I think smart's in there. Or it could be the opposite. Whatever, it could be whatever you want it to be. Just make sure it's 5 stars. Hey, everybody. Axiom 17. I know that if you're into this mini series of these axioms, you're going to want to know what 17 is. Now, if you've cheated and did where I went through a whole kind of episode of my axioms and didn't break that down, I'm kind of doing a fresh recording, all fresh material for you. Even if I use the same axioms and sometimes the same stories, this is going to be Axiom 17. So that was a pretty poor lead-in. Let me say it like this. This is going to be Axiom 17. Now you're more interested because it's the intonation. And this was what classic. This one was given to me by my daughter when she was 5 years old, coming home from kindergarten. And she said, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Right? My little 5-year-old at the time, she's now not 5, and I can tell you that she's just as smart now as she was then. And the truth is, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Now, this is a really, really important kind of go with the flow mentality. And the way that obviously kindergarten teachers are telling their kids, you get what you get, you don't throw a fit, right? And it kind of rhymes, and kids are like, well, it rhymes, so it must be true. And it kind of the technical legal structure, that means I can't throw a fit, and I got what I got. So what are you going to do, right? And for a 5-year-old, that may be, like just a checkmate move for a 5-year-old, but you're more likely an adult, and perhaps you even own a business. And I'm giving you a kindergarten level axiom. But here's why it's important. I think it's so important for you as an individual to really live that get what you get, you don't throw a fit. Now, it doesn't mean you're not trying to engineer the best outcome, and it also doesn't mean you're not able to gosh, I really wish we would have accomplished that objective, or we missed that train, or this flight's delayed, I'm not thrilled, but it doesn't help you to throw the fit. And especially the most easy kind of analogy or thought process I can give you here is if you're traveling, right? And I've traveled a lot, many, I don't know if I'm quite at 1,000,000 miles, but I've traveled many, many miles, cruises, flights, driving, I've traveled more than once, maybe even twice. And the number one thing when I'm in an airport or setting up for a travel day is I get what I get and I don't throw a fit, right? I'm not going to go argue about a flight being canceled or the equipment changed and now my seat's different, or I'm just not going to get into wasteful, silly, and ultimately kind of pointless exchanges with people just because I'm mad or sad or angry about the outcome, right? It's like, as in all things, right? If the juice ain't worth the squeeze, right, to quote another axiom, then just roll with the punches, baby. Just roll with it, right? You got no reason to dig your heels in and start yelling at a gate agent because you can't get what you want. The gate agent is not trying to not give you what you want. The gate agent is most often just trying to do their job. And yes, for those of you who are jumping up and down in your car or, throwing, something at the speaker, I know there's some idiots. There's more than one idiot. I've dealt with people at the Avis car counter. Their slogan at the time was "We try harder," and let me just tell you, they didn't try at all. Okay, they were morons. They didn't do any trying, but it still wouldn't have helped me to throw a fit. It's like I just went through it and I roll with the punches and just try to keep the stress low. Because the net effect was you're kind of screwed, you kind of deal with it, and you kind of move on, right? You get what you get and you don't throw a fit. There are all kinds of lessons beyond travel for this, right? But in travel, it's actually paid off. I'll give you another travel example. So I'm in, I think, Richmond, Virginia, somewhere, and I'm trying to move up a flight. And I see that there's another flight to Seattle or wherever I was going, and so I try to go to that gate. My flight's leaving in whatever, hour and a half, but this flight's about to leave. So I go to that gate and I see two people walk up, right? They're like, "Hey, I want to get on this flight," right? And they're really demanding. And, the next one's equally, kind of fists in the air. "Ah, let me on." And she's like, "Well, we still got some seats that we can't release yet, but we can put you on standby or whatever." And they're, "I'm super elite premium guy and you should just do what I tell you," right? And they're just being jerks, frankly. Right? And I'll be honest with you, I don't like jerks. Uh, I try not to be a jerk. Sometimes I'm a jerk, I'm sure, but I try not to be a jerk. And there's a golden rule element in there, obviously, but it's like I went up and I said, "Hey, I just saw those guys, but if there's a list or something you can put me on, no pressure. I mean, I get it. You can either do it or you can't. It's not the end of the world." And I was just polite and I was nice and I was just kind of jokey with her. I'm like, "Hey, I'm sure that was fun, right?" And I'm like, I don't know, people are dumb, right? And she understood that I saw that she was getting abused for no good reason. There's no outcome that was ever going to be to her benefit there. And she just kind of said, "Yeah, thanks for recognizing my pain there. You had empathy. Hey, gosh, this is an empathy alert, everybody. This might be the first time I showed empathy. I'll call my empathy coach and just ask if that was actually empathy." But I just, that's how I made a connection with her. And she said, she just kind of goes out of the side of her mouth, "Hey, just stay close to the gate here, huh?" And I'm like, Okay, And by the way, I was Mr. Elite. I had all the car. I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to show you the card just so you know I got it. So you're not, I'm not just some schmoes trying to get in here, but I'm not trying to force the hand. I can wait the time. It's not the end of the world, right?" And and so she's like, "Hey, just stand over there and let's see what happens." And within 30 seconds, those other guys were out pouting somewhere. She was like, just hop on. Here's your seat assignment. Hop on. She closed the door right behind me, out of spite, probably, for those two ding dongs that were mean to her. Now I didn't count how many seats were left on it, but I know for certain the reason I got that seat was because I wasn't an a-hole, right? You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. Now, in an organization, I've talked about this on other Axiom Mini Series examples. I think the boss is often an a-hole, right? Don't be that guy or gal. Don't be an a-hole to your people. Why be mean? Like it's so rare for me to yell at the office. And I'm talking about decades. And you may be able to count them on, one hand, maybe two hands, over the course of 30 plus years. I've had a situation or two. Most often, if I did raise my voice, it was out of excitement, right? I'm not counting, "Hey, yeah, go team," right? That's not yelling. But I rarely, if ever, certainly not now in my elderly years at 51, I'm not going to berate somebody in front of the group. I'm not going to speak in a way that I would like to be spoken to, right? I'm not going to do something that I don't put my name on, right? You see all these kind of axioms kind of working together here. I'm stacking for the audio people. You can't see me moving my hands around like I'm a crazy person. The point is, why not just get what you get, don't throw a fit, right? So if you ask for something and it didn't work out, don't be a jerk. Don't yell at them. Don't assume they're idiots. Let's talk about the system. What got you this result? How can we improve the system? You guys are the experts. You're running the business. Tell me how to do it. And then let's see what happens next time. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm somehow dismissive or that I lack discipline within the organization, or that I accept anything less than their best. That's not the case, right? I want people to perform, but you inspire performance. You don't do it through fear, right? That real leaders are trying to create the vision and create the, here's where we're going, and you're going to help me with the how we're going to get there. And people who are just terrible managers are fear, right? It's like, yeah, do it or else, you're replaceable. You're all commodities, right? Any of that kind of mentality. Even if you don't say those words, if you believe it, it will kind of show itself within the organization. And so I'm saying to you, there's no point in throwing fits. Don't throw them with your people. Don't throw them when you didn't get a good outcome. Don't be a jerk and have road rage. How does that help? Right? Honking or carrying on the street. What is that? Right? I'm a pretty good driver, and I see idiots all day long, right? I think people who think they're good drivers think everybody else is an idiot. But if I'm driving on the left lane and nobody's moving, even though that's the law, right? Slower traffic is supposed to move to the right. There's signs we go by a sign. It's like slower traffic, move to the right, illegal to be in the passing lane, except when passing, right? And they're just like somehow anchored there, right? Almost like they have a fixed position that they can't move out of. But there's no point in me yelling. There's no point in me honking or carrying on or letting a situation build, right? You get what you get. You don't throw a fit. It's got that rhythm to it, right? This is where the kindergarten teachers are like, hey, it rhymes. It must be right. And I tell you the same. It must be right because it rhymes. It's got a little rhythm to it. I want you guys and gals, right? I say guys in the generic sense. So ladies, when you hear this and I say guys, I'm talking about you too, right? Everybody out there, think about how you can apply this, right? Are there times you're losing your temper? Are there times you're letting stress get the better of you? Are there times that you've treated others the way you wouldn't like to be treated, right? Hey, by the way, make amends on those, right? There's been a couple times where, in fact, in the last 3 months, I lost my cool with one of my people. And I could give you all my justifications and all my rationale for why. But the truth is, I apologized to him. I said, despite the merits of my argument being true and legitimate, and by my apologizing, I'm not taking away from the merits of the case I'm putting forward to you. My presentation of that case was unprofessional. It was rude, and I won't do it again. I'm sorry about that, and I promise to do better. Right. So I had to say, the message and the core of what I was trying to get across, we have to still deal with. But me kind of blowing my cork and being, raising my voice, and it happened again in the last 3 or maybe 6 months. I was in the wrong. I should have, looked at Axiom 17 a little closer and remembered, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. Now, again, that is not a passive, oh, well, they sucked, and so that's the way it is, or the results sucked, or the system broke, or right? It doesn't mean you're satisfied with, poor results, right? All I'm trying to say is whatever you got, the resolution to that is not you losing your mind or throwing a fit, right? Once you got that result, don't throw the fit. Now resolve and engineer how you resolve the situation without being a jerk. Don't be an a-hole. We have a no a-hole rule. There are companies, I know really some extraordinarily smart people that have proven results, but they're jerks to the other people around them. They're a kiss up, kick down kind of person, which means they're fine to me because I'm up, right? They kiss up, but they kick down. And that means everybody in the organization hates them. And I can never let them come into the organization, despite their talent, despite their capability, because that no a-hole rule is far more important than letting the the bad, kind of rotten egg get in there, and a rotten apple spoil the bunch, right? You can't let that happen. So think of Axiom 17. It's for you. It's for your people, and it reminds us to stay professional, and that we're all just trying to do a job. We all just want to do our best. We all want to succeed, and even when we don't measure up, that doesn't mean that we have license to lose our minds and treat people in ways. I've seen a series of texts from an entrepreneur that I had great respect for, and it was just so hard to read, because it's like, none of this is constructive. None of this will help solve the matter. Not a bit of this is going to be useful. It's all just kind of like the steam valve blowing off, loud noise and hot air. Just not helpful. So don't forget Axiom 17, everybody. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. It's fun to say, huh? That is, again, thanks to my sweet little daughter. She was 5 years old at the time she laid that one on me, and I thought it was an absolute golden nugget then, and I believe it today, and lo, these many years later. Episode 232, everybody. That's what's just happened right here. So if you're driving by this and it looks like there's some sort of kerfuffle happening, it's awesomers.com/232. You can see what happened here, and you can go back and watch the tapes. That's right, tapes. Look that up, kids. And you can see exactly what went down here in this episode. We're in the Axiom Mini Series, only a few to go, so don't miss a one. And don't forget to subscribe, share, save, and blah, blah, blah. Do all the things I beg you to do. Thank you. Bye-bye.